Mr. Richard Stallman, the Brazilian National Council, National Workers Union on computer science related informatics wants the government to state a rule that constrains the professional activity on computer science and informatics to computer science graduated or computer science technical.
It's completely stupid and wrong. There's no reason why a really good programmer doesn't need to go to school and study computer science. I didn't study computer science. I took one class that related to computers while I was in college. It was a class in writing compilers. People who are going to be good programmers don't need to learn to program. They do need to learn to write good programs, but you don't learn that in a class. You learn that by reading lots of programs and writing lots of programs. So this proposed law, which would be a completely stupid policy, would just be a way of punishing the people who are the best in the field. Oh yeah, well.
You don't have to have a degree in order to write about
Yeah.
what people say or to
Right.
communicate.
Is there anything that you would like to say to people that encourage people to use GPL version 3 instead of GPL version 2?
GPL version 3 is basically the same as GPL version 2. It's the same goal and pretty much the same requirements. Some details are being changed. And the reason we are changing these details is to respond to new means of trying to take away these freedoms. Problems that could result in denying users their freedoms. And so, well, some of the changes are to address these new potential problems, and some are simply clarifications, that is, stating more clearly the meaning that we've always interpreted it to have. So if you want to make it more effective and also more international, we're paying attention to making GPLv3 more clearly effective in all countries with the same effects. So those are reasons to switch to it. One of the substantive changes is we have made GPLv3 compatible with a broader range of other free software licenses, including, for instance, the Apache license, Apache public license, and the Eclipse public license. GPLv2 is incompatible with those. You're not allowed to take a program under GPL version 2 and the current Apache license or past Apache licenses and combine them, because the two licenses make conflicting requirements about how you can distribute the combination. So in GPL version 3, we've provided for compatibility. So a program under GPL version 3 and a program under the Apache public license will be compatible. You will be able to combine that code. This is going to be quite convenient for the community. And one other benefit in version 3 of the GNU General Public License is that it fights against TiVoization. TiVoization is named after a product called the TiVo, which contains a small GNU plus Linux operating system. And these programs are released under free software licenses, and you can get the source code, you can change it, you can compile your version, you can install it in the TiVo, and then it won't run at all. The TiVo was designed so that if the software is modified and the factory did not authorize the version, it won't run at all. That's TiVoization. It's a tricky way of nominally respecting your freedom to change the software while practically speaking denying it to you. So GPL version 3 is designed to forbid TiVoization. In other words, it's designed to make sure that users have the real substantial freedom to run their modified versions.
what is the relationship between using digital rights
Oh.
management?
They're not directly related, they're not inherently related. But the fact is, digital restrictions management, did you call it digital rights management? You shouldn't do that. Because you see, from the user's point of view, it's restrictions. So if you call it digital rights management, you're taking the side of Hollywood and the record companies. If you call it digital restrictions management, you're taking the side of the user who's being restricted. So, those who want to impose digital restrictions management on the public, are trying to restrict the general public. And they want to implement these restrictions in our software, which they're allowed to do. They're allowed to change the software any way they like. But they're not satisfied just with offering you a version of our software which restricts you. They want to make sure you can't change it back. They want to make sure you can't go in and get the source code and change it so that it doesn't restrict you anymore. So they always want to finish the job with TiVoization or something like it. So GPL version 3 does not forbid digital restrictions management. But practically speaking, it thwarts digital restrictions management. Yes, they can modify our software to restrict you, but they can't deny you the freedom to modify it again. You don't have to suffer with their restrictions if you don't like it. You can change it, you can get rid of their restrictions.
Until now, there is no official translation of GPL to Portuguese. All translations are unofficial, just for information.
Right.
With GPL v3, we will have an official translation in Portuguese.
I'm not sure.
That we can register on a Brazilian notary.
Listen to me. I'm not sure, and the reason is that translating the GPL is very risky. Suppose we made a mistake. The result could be very, very bad. So we're working very hard on the English version so as not to make a mistake. But how can we check a Portuguese version? None of us actually reads Portuguese. Well, I could maybe check a Spanish version. There are a lot of more people who would like a Spanish version. But even though I can read Spanish pretty well, I'm not confident that I can read legal Spanish and really understand it correctly. You're talking about something that would be months of work for us. For me and Eben Moglen, months of work. Maybe more time than it took us to write this. I don't know if we can do this.
The nice thing about that.